name is Mwai, and I'm so glad that you've given me this opportunity to speak to you and to challenge you on what I have entitled Social Intelligence, the Power of Relationships. Social intelligence, the power of relationships. If you're going to succeed in life, and I know you desire to succeed in all that you're doing, one of the things that you and I must develop is a sense of social intelligence. You know, we talk about your IQ, talking about the mind, we talk about emotional intelligence, but there's also something else called social intelligence. Social intelligence is that ability and knowledge and insight on how to manage relationships. If you're going to succeed, you must learn how to manage the relationships in your life. The relationships that will come along the way, the relationships that are already existing. See, in life, all of us, we have different kind of relationships. We relate with other people at different levels. For instance, every one of us will have some intimate relationships. There are people who you will relate to on an intimate basis, people who you know, people who are your friends. They are your confidants. Now, intimate relationships does not necessarily mean that you have to be related by blood. This could just be people probably who God brings along the way, and you learn to relate with them. You become close, you build trust and a sense of togetherness with them. And these are people who will always be there for you. And usually, those kind of relationships will be the fewest. Those that will be the fewest people in your life at any given point, and in your whole span of life, you will find that you will not have too many people that you will develop that kind of intimacy and that kind of having them as confidence in your life. But then there are also other relationships that sometimes will be confined to the professional arena. There are people you will meet, you will relate to, but at that professional level, you meet them at the workplace or at the business arena. People maybe you enter into business relationship with. People who your relationships is really defined by what you do together, the work that you engage in together, maybe your career or what have you. Now, for those kind of relationships, you need to know how to manage them, because a lot of times the people that we meet in the professional arena are not necessarily our friends. Yes, friendships can come out of them, but I have to know that there are certain boundaries that are concerned. For instance, I have to know how to relate with my boss, my seniors. I have to know how to relate with my juniors, the people who report to me. I have to know how to relate with my business partners. And there are certain rules that govern those kind of relationships. And a violation of those rules sometimes will bring trouble. Sometimes may bring even a collapse of that particular relationship. But then also, there are also other relationships apart from the intimate relationships, professional relationships. We also have comrades or companions, people we meet along the way, maybe in the church environment, people we go to church with, we belong to the same Bible study group, maybe people we belong to the same ministry, we preach together, and what have you. And I have to know how to relate with every one of those people, because at that level, usually it is so spread out that you will have probably a different relationship with one person to the next person to the next person. But as I relate, I have to have the social intelligence to know where to draw the boundaries, where to draw the parameters around our relationships. Now, it does not mean that certain relationships will not graduate, maybe to become much more closer. Maybe a friendship will develop, maybe out of somebody we go to church with, or even somebody maybe I meet in the business arena. Yes, those things do happen, but you have to tread very carefully. There has to be a sense of mutual agreement, even as those relationships progress to the next level, so that you do not violate those unspoken rules. So many business arrangements have actually sometimes collapsed. Businesses have collapsed because people did not draw boundaries around those business relationships. Sometimes even in church, you find that certain relationships collapsed. There was conflict, there was division, simply because maybe somebody took somebody else for granted, or just assumed this or assumed that. It is important, friends, for us, and especially as God's people, to develop social intelligence. All right? And social intelligence basically means I respect you. I respect the other person within this particular relationship, whether it is a business relationship, whether it is an intimate relationship, whether somebody is just a companion, maybe is somebody who we fellowship with. Learning to respect those boundaries, learning to respect the other person, and knowing when and how far you can go with that particular person. And the moment you begin doing that, you will begin succeeding in your relationship, and people begin respecting you in those relationships, and you will begin doing well. Too much heartache sometimes out of relationships is unnecessarily caused because we lack social intelligence. Sometimes you expect too much from people. Sometimes you expect people to be there for you, but they do not carry the same burden because they don't sense that you're close enough. They don't think they can trust you that much. They don't think that they owe you that much. But sometimes we find ourselves having such expectations of people because we lack social intelligence. I want to challenge you in this year, and even as you move on in your life, begin defining your relationships. Know who is who in your life. Begin drawing those boundaries around you. Know how to relate with people. And I guarantee you, it will save you from a lot of heartache. I guarantee you, you will know your boundaries, your parameters, and it will take you to the next level where your relationships are concerned. Please share this message with somebody. Just hit that share button. We are on Facebook, as you know. Of course, we are also on YouTube. But please just share this message with somebody else, and may the Lord bless you.